When there's nothing left to do on Earth, the only thing left is to become invincible. That's how the life of our protagonist, An Lin, begins. After an unfair death, he awakens in another world with a divine system that forces him to grow stronger or die again. Are you ready to witness a nobody become a legend, crushing kings, clans, and cultivators? Get ready for a story of power, blood, and unstoppable evolution. In a world where a cultivation service platform lets mortals access the resources of the spiritual world, a mysterious being descends, searching for someone. Meanwhile, An Lin is visiting his mother's grave on his birthday. He promises her that he'll become a great cultivator. Suddenly, a strange entity knocks at his door, causing paranormal disturbances. People had already warned that something was making promising young people vanish at night. An Lin grabs his protective seal and activates his spiritual eyes, but the entity blocks his vision and cuts off his communication. It then reveals its true form and tells An Lin it's been waiting for him. Before An can react, a blinding light envelops him. He finds himself on the border between the mortal and spiritual worlds. The old man-like entity tells him he'll be taken to the spiritual realm to cultivate. Without waiting for a response, he grants An Lin enhanced power and status and gives him a recommendation letter to study at the Supreme Magic Academy of the 9 counties. Excited and determined, An Lin agrees. The old man warns that the path will be tough, filled with powerful opponents and alluring beauties. He jokes that he's finally free of the unlucky burden that An Lin apparently represents. At the Celestial Gate, a system spirit appears, visible only to An Lin. It warns him to be careful. Just then, a cultivator becomes trapped in the spatial channel. The spirit instructs An Lin to stabilize the portal's energy. From it emerges Xu Xiaolin, who asks if An saved her. Stunned by her beauty, he accepts her help, standing up and receives an extraordinary robe. She asks where he's from and how he's here without being part of a sect. An Lin shows her his scroll, which explains everything. She realizes they're in the same class and tells him to follow her. The Supreme Magic Academy, founded by the Celestial Alliance, is the first sacred land of cultivation. The Academy is a floating continent in the sky. New students gather at the Divine Monolith, a relic that determines class rankings and powers the Academy. Over 10,000 students will be sorted into 100 classes based on their cultivation level. When the monolith calls names, the crowd is shocked by Wei Ji, ranked at 9th lower stage, Class 1. Xuanyuan Cheng, the prodigy from the Thousand Spirit sect, is even stronger, at spiritual nutrition level, upper initial stage. Then, Xu Xiaolin is called. She's ranked 9th upper stage, Class 1. She tells An Lin she'll wait for him there. As An Lin steps forward, everyone mocks him until he shows his scroll. The instructor, Yue Ying, is stunned. The recommendation is from Master Lu, a legendary immortal. Ming Yuan, using spiritual sight, confirms the authenticity and notes Master Lu's domain is not swordsmanship, but numerology. He declares An Lin is destined to perform miracles. Then the monolith delivers a shock. An Lin has the worst registration score in 100,000 years, a historical record. Next, Liu Dabao is revealed to be in 3rd lower stage, Class 100. Far below An Lin, which enrages him. Wei Ji challenges An Lin to a fight, but the system spirit urges him to run. Xu Xiaolin takes him to his dorm, and An Lin asks how to fix his reputation. The spirit replies by leveling up, so he begins completing quests. Later, someone follows him. An Lin is ambushed, but having reached level 3, easily dodges the attacks. It's Liu Dabao, seething with resentment. An Lin warns he'll soon reach spiritual nutrition level and deserves respect. Liu responds with a powerful talisman that forces An Lin to flee. The system tells him to use the Celestial Gate to melt the talisman's power, a dangerous move. The system abandons him mid-process. At that moment, Xu Xiaolin appears and neutralizes the attack. But something is off. The attacker isn't the real Liu Dabao. The fake continues fighting until An Lin activates the Celestial Gate. The imposter escapes, but Lin is left weakened. The real Liu approaches, concerned, but Xiaolin scares him off with a shout. Xiaolin hadn't noticed the imposter. He was too strong. She apologizes and vows to protect Lin until he becomes stronger. He smiles and agrees. The spirit informs him, bond with Xu Xiaolin increased by 60%. The next day, Lin is exhausted. Becoming the entire sect's enemy on day 1 is tough. The instructor sees this as a chance to grow and promises to be strict. Xu explains that the most hated students are often the luckiest. Her spiritual eyes reveal that everyone truly hates Lin, even in their thoughts. Their cultivation teacher is a tree branch named Kang Qing. Through a portal, Princess Su Qianyun of Qingmu enters. Her beauty stuns the class. Then Xuanyuan Cheng joins, glaring coldly at Lin. And Lin complains about people relying on beauty, but wonders why he doesn't hate Xiaolan, who's also beautiful. She blushes. Kang Qing slightly moves a twig, declaring that's the whole lesson. Confused, Lin uses his spiritual sight and realizes the class must be felt, not explained. In sword class, Ling Xiao, a literal sword, teaches similarly. Most instructors are objects: divine fire, a hammer. Then instructor Yue Ying arrives and names Lin the class representative. Her lesson? Play on the latest spirit world phone. Lin is bewildered. She explains, this is the mortal class. It's like gym. Don't complain. The numerology class is stranger. The teacher tells them to sleep and write their dreams for analysis. He knows Lin can't yet perceive numerology, but warns, a bloodbath awaits once he wakes. Yue Ying counts to 3. Lin falls into a deep sleep. After a peaceful nap, Lin wakes up to a fairy. No, it's just Shu Xiaolin. She says they're in technique class, and Yue Ying is holding a magic combat session. Shu offers to be Lin's partner, otherwise he'll have to fight everyone alone. Then Zhuanyuan Cheng demonstrates the 5 elements, and the instructor calls Lin. Shu tries to fight for him, but the instructor insists Lin is the opponent. Cheng activates a spiritual matrix. Using his divine vision skill, Lin finds a flaw in the pattern. Cheng attacks. Lin uses the celestial gate to block, surprising everyone. He channels energy at a spiritual nutrition level. He hits Cheng's weak point, escapes a chain attack, and levels up to level 4 overnight. Cheng thanks him and leaves. Then Elder Yu Hua arrives announcing trouble in the Freedom Field. Class is dismissed. Cheng approaches Lin to train together. Lin innocently asks for stones, not realizing spirit stones are currency. Cheng gives him a tiny one worth 5,000 spirit stones. Then he invites Lin to his place to watch a movie. They become good friends. Bond level, 60%. Next, Princess Qianyun congratulates him and asks to be friends. They agree. The battle for freedom is coming, a survival event where all disciples compete. The top 50 can join the chaos draw with custom weapons and magical items. If Lin fails, he'll become a cute fairy for a whole year. He dreams of his female self pushing him into water. Waking, he asks the system if absorbing energy will push him to 7th stage. It says yes. He needs only 130 more points. Lin, now stronger, trains by punching air and feels amazing. But his current rank is 29,653rd, far from the top 50. The system reminds him, since he's hated by the entire academy, completing missions is much harder. Feeling hopeless, he begins to believe he'll become a girl. He awkwardly asks Shu if she wants a best friend. She says yes. He then asks what she thinks of him as her best friend. She frowns. He panics, thinking she believes he's a pervert. Then he asks Cheng if he'd like a younger sister. Cheng says maybe, and Lin asks how he'd feel if he was that sister. Cheng is speechless. Lin walks away in shame. Later, Shu, Cheng, and Qianyun wonder if something's wrong with Lin. Maybe it's psychological, or just his personal preference. They decide to help him. Just then, Lin arrives. Qianyun invites him to eat castrated bull meat, staring at his crotch. Lin is mortified and declares he'll level up, become the strongest, and win back his dignity. Even in his female form, when Lin looks at himself in the mirror, he punches it in frustration. He asks the system to open the missions. He wants to fight for his dignity as a man until the very end. But the system tells him he must first prove he's not a macho. Lin says he doesn't care. The mission: defeat a 9th upper stage enemy, someone equal to or stronger than Xiaolan. The system explains he can now use the essence of the mountain to learn a god-level skill, Mountain Shaking Fist. If he completes the mission, his rank will jump to 4,653. The next day, Lin considers how to ask Xiaolan to lose a match against him so he can level up. When she sees him acting awkward, she assumes it's about becoming best friends. But he insists he's a truly masculine man. She asks how she can help. Lin tells her he needs the essence of the mountain to cultivate a magical skill. She says that's no problem. Later at Cheng's house, Lin tells him what happened. Cheng encourages him to cultivate properly and not rely on shady shortcuts. He believes Lin has real potential. The next day, Xiaolan says she asked her martial uncle to help. Although the essence of the mountain isn't rare, high-quality ones are only available from Dragonstone Island. He'll get it for her soon. Lin then asks Xiaolin for the Academy's past rankings. He wants to know who the real experts are. She agrees to help. Later, Lin begs Cheng to lose to him in a duel. Cheng asks if doing so will help Lin break through. Lin says yes. Cheng agrees. He considers it an honor to help. Lin then visits Xiaolan. The atmosphere is warm, and she thinks he's about to confess, but instead he awkwardly asks, if I had to hit you to level up, would you be mad? She's confused and still suspects a confession, but when she sees how serious he is, she nods. She tells him that sparring between students is common. Lin thanks her and promises to repay her someday. Back with Cheng, he teaches Lin the absolute divine spiritual matrix, a technique to restrain Xiaolan and give Lin an edge. Later, Lin approaches Xiaolan to use it, but his heavy breathing makes her misinterpret his intentions. She steps back and gives him the essence of the mountain. Lin uses the opportunity to trap her with chains. Xiaolan gets emotional. Lin stops, but accidentally grabs her chest. The moment becomes extremely uncomfortable. Furious, Xiaolan throws the essence in his face and storms off, calling him a bastard. Lin cries like a princess in Cheng's arms. Cheng comforts him. Later, Lin checks the top student rankings. Wang Xuanzhan has held first place for 4 years straight and is at the final stage of spiritual nutrition. Lin also finds a letter from Xiaolan. She tells him to take care of himself on his own this year. Lin eats the essence of the mountain. Suddenly, his stomach hurts. The system tells him he must detox by going to the bathroom. He'll have diarrhea until the energy bar is full, after which he'll instantly learn Mountain Shaking Fist. But the process takes 13 days, and the battle for freedom starts in 10. The system mocks him. Meanwhile, Xiaolan goes to sleep, wondering if Lin will come apologize. Lin, however, spends the whole night in the bathroom and only reaches 3% progress. The system cheerfully tells him the green energy he released fertilized an acre of forest. Lin despairs. He might not make it to the competition. Still, he stays in the bathroom. At school, classmates wonder where he is. Some think he's hiding out of fear, but the truth is, he has chronic diarrhea. The system shows that his popularity is falling due to missed classes. Suddenly, Cheng visits. He asks to come in. Lin says no. Cheng assumes Lin is heartbroken over Xiaolan and promises to apologize on his behalf. Lin says there's an obstruction from last night. Cheng assumes he means a heart demon and begins chanting the Heart Sutra to help clear Lin's feelings. The chanting speeds up the detox. Lin suffers through intense diarrhea, and Cheng remains faithfully by his side. In the end, Lin sees Cheng as his hero. Time passes. Girls visiting Lin's house notice that the vegetation has grown wildly. Xiaolan, however, is still too upset to approach him. Thanks to Cheng's overnight chanting, Lin's purge accelerates. There's now a real chance he'll be ready for the big battle. The next day, Lin returns to school. Everyone still hates him. Xiaolan thinks he's ignoring her, but in reality, he's just focusing on holding everything in. Then, an observant dog realizes what's happening and uses spiritual power to heal Lin's intestines. Later, Great Elder Yu Hua appears. He's at the Returning to Void stage. He announces that once all disciples enter the Forest of 1,000 Peaks, the battle for freedom will begin. Some elders will observe to evaluate combat power and assign points. The more enemies a disciple defeats, and the stronger they are, the higher the score. The elder casts golden protective light over each participant. If the light breaks, they're disqualified. Students enter the forest. The battle begins. Lin finds himself next to Liu Dabao. Elsewhere, Cheng shows up and defeats a group of enemies instantly. Qianyun also fights off bald attackers without effort. Dabao sees Lin holding his stomach and thinks he's preparing an attack. He draws his sword, but Lin breaks it barehanded. Lin just asks, "How can a man go out without toilet paper?" and walks away. Soon, Weiji approaches Lin. He says Class 100 students are hiding in groups to avoid defeat. If Lin finds them, he should report back. From above, Xiaolan sees Lin. She's upset that he hasn't come to look for her, so she decides not to look for him either. Instructor Yueying watches and says the first day is always the most intense, and Lin is in serious danger. He's hated by too many people. Back in the forest, a group of guys finds Lin's hiding spot. Each has a personal reason to want to fight him, mostly jealousy over Xiaolan. One of them doesn't care about Lin, so the others beat him up first. Lin, still hidden in the bushes, suggests, "Why don't you all fight each other first? I'll take on the winner." They agree. As they fight, Lin takes advantage of the noise to accelerate his detox. Once he finishes, he wipes the floor with all 4 enemies using just 1 punch. An elder observes and notes his refined technique. Lin's rank jumps to 43,453. The system reminds him that he needs to complete more missions quickly to reach the top 50. His next target, climb Black Rock. Later, Dabao approaches Lin and leads him to a secret portal. Inside are 291 survivors from Class 100, hidden for years. They're tired of being hunted and ask Lin to defeat them for points. They trust him because he doesn't bully the weak. Lin promises to be gentle and softly knocks them out one by one. They love it. Lin's rank skyrockets to 7,864. Weiji grows furious. Elsewhere in the forest, Tang Shimen appears, glowing with overwhelming power. Lin can't even look directly at him. Tang moves to attack, but is suddenly burned by a magic blast. The system immediately warns Lin, "Hide! She's too strong for you." Flashback to 2 weeks earlier, when Xiaolan made the list of the strongest. She mentioned Liu Qianhuan, holder of the True God's recommendation letter. She's a solitary, unpredictable cultivator, known as the number 1 goddess of slaughter. Now, in the forest, she appears in front of Lin. She looks him over and asks, "Are you and Lin, the one from the mortal realm?" Then her expression softens. She smiles sweetly. "Want to play with me?" And Lin is stunned. Is this really the famous Liu Qianhuan, the one with a recommendation from a true god? Later, Liu asks Lin if he plays the League of Mortals, a mobile game. He replies, "This isn't a video game. We're in a real battle." Liu frowns. "Then let's fight." Her speed catches him off guard. Lin blurts out that he does like games. She asks why she should play with him. He starts to suspect she's genuinely crazy. She declares she wants to test mortals to see if any are her type. Her new idea? A 50-question quiz about the mortal realm. If Lin passes, he can join her team. She activates a timer. He starts answering quickly. After a while, only 20 questions remain. They begin talking like old friends. They discuss a movie that oddly shares Chung's name. Elsewhere in the forest, Chung overhears them. Liu switches topics. Who was voted the prettiest girl in your sect last year? Lin doesn't know. He's from the mortal realm. It was me, Liu says smugly. Then she asks, who's prettier, Xiaolan or Qianyun? Feeling awkward, Lin answers, Qianyun. Trash, Liu snaps, assuming Xiaolan is his girlfriend. She's not, Lin protests. Even Liu calls him an idiot. Curious, she demands gossip. Lin tells her what happened, and she confirms, yep, you are trash. She has an innate sword body. She can detect lies. Then she asks, who's prettier, me or Xiaolan? Terrified, Lin answers, you are. Liu receives a call and turns serious. Do you want to be a happy mortal or a lonely immortal? Lin reflects on both his worlds. At this point, I just want to make the world a better place. She studies him with her special eyes. He's telling the truth. Congratulations, she smiles. You're the first member of Club Liu. Lin thinks he's free to go. Now we play. For 3 days, she declares. The system warns, under current conditions, you won't make the top 50. You'll have to become a pretty fairy. There's only one mission he can still complete, and Liu can help. She pulls out her broom. Let's fly to the top of Black Stone. Elsewhere, Xiaolan tracks Lin using GPS. Suddenly, the dog Dubai reappears and tells her, we must protect Lin. He has diarrhea. She finally understands why he hasn't apologized. Just then, a warrior arrives to face her. Back in the skies, Liu flies on her magic broom, yelling that she's queen of the world. Lin feels dizzy from the speed. You've begun cultivating Earth Lotus art, the system informs him. Once complete, you'll reach the spiritual nutrition level. But to finish, he must stay there for 1 full day. Once he's strong enough, Lin plans to escape, or maybe attack her. Suddenly, he sees Daewoo Chenchen, 8th grade, lurking nearby. Chenchen says he's just leaving, but Liu sees nothing. Was it all a hallucination? High above, the elders observe. Even with a true god's recommendation, they can't detect Chenchen's level. Still, the elder is more interested in An Lin. The 7 god-recommended students are all connected to him, Yue Ying notes. Who is he, really? The elder breaks the 4th wall. We'll find out in Season 2, 2 years from now. Meanwhile, Wei Ji attacks Xiaolan. My enemies are mortals, he says. After a brief clash, they part ways. Back atop the rock, Liu and Lin play video games. Lin wins. Liu demands a rematch. This time, she wins. Progress 95%. Status, good mood, says the system. They watch the sunrise. The system warns, prepare for ambush. Liu asks, are we friends? Yes, Lin replies. You're my first friend. Liu reveals she has no family and was used as a cultivation tool. Lin suggests they change that together, but Liu senses something. You're lying, or maybe your aura is just murky. In truth, what she sees is the earth energy he's absorbed. Why are you cultivating? To attack you, he admits. Liu looks sad. Thanks. For tonight, even if it was a lie. She considers striking him, but Lin insists he was being sincere. Liu lowers her guard. Suddenly, the system releases energy on its own, striking Liu. With one blow, she blocks it. How did you learn such a technique while playing? Lin explains he has a hack in his body. It lets him grow stronger while doing other things. Liu punches him for cheating. Then she challenges him. Tell me a lie. Let's see if lies are still lies. He points to a stone. Eat that. It'll make you stronger. But it actually causes diarrhea. She eats it anyway and instantly regrets it. She can absorb earth energy, the system says. It'll help digestion. She starts to recover. Lin offers her anti-diarrheal wipes. Grateful, she gives him her feminine headband. He refuses. Wearing it would make him look like a fairy, but she insists. It will protect you from spiritual nutrition level attacks. He walks away proudly with the headband. Achievement unlocked. Run to the bathroom. Relationship with Liu, 80%. The forest trembles. Wang Xuanzhan, the top student, appears, his aura blasting others into the air. He challenges Chenchen to stop hiding. If Chenchen doesn't show up, he'll destroy everyone with a thunder attack. Meanwhile, Xiaolan tries to protect Dubai from Wei Ji. The dog warns, if you hurt her, my father Bai Xian will come for you. Wei Ji backs off. Xiaolan finds courage. You hate An Lin because he's stronger than you, even as a mortal. Just then, Lin crashes in like a meteor, rescuing both of them with Earth Lotus art. At the same time, Wang wipes out other competitors with thunder. Yue Ying watches. He might reach divinization. Chenchen meditates through the storm. Lightning can't touch him, but when a single leaf lands on his leg, he opens his eyes. It's time. Lin's headband breaks. Only 132 students remain. Dabai is impressed by Lin's growth. Xiaolan discovers Wei Ji disguised himself as Dabao and attacked Lin. Furious, Lin defeats him and others. He ascends to the 9th stage. Lin finally apologizes to Xiaolan. I didn't ghost you, I had diarrhea and for 10 days. Fair enough, she replies. Wang counts to 3, ready to destroy the forest. Yue Ying asks the elder if students will die. No, he replies calmly. Just as Wang attacks, Princess Chung blocks him. He recognizes her, but she mocks his outfit. Chung binds Wang with spiritual chains. He resists. "You won't beat me." She calls on the survivors. Activate the grand yin-yang formation of 1,000 spirits. Everyone raises their hands, linking spiritual power. Still, it's not enough. Qianyun attacks, but Wang injures her. "Want to go out after this?" he asks. "No." She kills herself from disgust. "Why does everyone hate me?" he wonders aloud. "Maybe try higher necklines," Chung advises. Furious, Wang unleashes his power. Chung blocks it. Wang admires him. "If not for disharmony, you might have won, Chung. You're a bully who preys on the weak." And then, he eliminates him. Wang's final attack targets the rest. Lin prepares to stop it with his fist, but Chen appears. He blocks it with a single finger. "So," he says to Lin, "have you mastered Heavenly Finger yet?" Lin remembers that the person on the rock was the same one who said, "I've been waiting for you for a long time." Back in the present, Lin asks, "Learn what?" Once again, the way of heaven shifts, and Chen disappears. Before leaving, Chen tells Lin to learn the move and then come find him for answers. Lin is left confused. The system informs him that only 4 humans and 1 dog remain in the forest. If Lin defeats Wang, he will become ranked number 2 in the school. If he fails, he has the option to withdraw to avoid injury, but doing so will transform him into a pretty fairy. Lin chooses to fight. Wang immediately eliminates Xiaolan. He asks where Chen went. Lin replies that he doesn't know and says that he'll be Wang's opponent instead. Wang laughs, and the system urgently warns Lin that the fight may be fatal. Dabai steps in to protect Lin. Lin thanks him, and then eliminates him, shocking everyone. In the sky, Instructor Yueying begs the elders to stop the fight, fearing Lin's life is in danger. Wang attacks with his dragon technique. Lin prepares to use Mountain Fist, but remembers Chen's celestial finger. He uses it at the last second. The power is so immense that the signal feed cuts out. Only 1 person falls, Wang. Lin is scorched but alive. The crowd erupts in celebration, calling him God Lin. Only Wei Ji refuses to cheer. Liu realizes Lin went easy on her during their previous fight. Meanwhile, in the sky, the elders choose 3 new first-year disciples. And Lin, Zhuanyuan Cheng, Xu Xiaolin Lin remains in a coma for 10 days due to energy overload. He is revived by the Grand Elder who gives him a rank 2 elixir. The school, once full of skeptics, now hails him as the most powerful among them. The system tells him he won a special item, the Primordial Alloy Chaos Brick. He has also self-learned the Celestial Division Magic Series, and now has access to numerous powerful skills and gear, including Spirit Swords, Spirit Stones, and Spirit Possessions, though he doesn't yet know how to use most of them. A month later, the Grand Elder announces that the Demon King has escaped from the damaged Demon Suppression Pagoda. The Academy will send top disciples to track him and repair the seal. Rumors spread, Wei Ji has been replaced by God and Lin. He is furious. He recalls how he once met with Wang, who said the Grand Elder had shared a secret prophecy, but refused to reveal it, saying Wei Ji's unstable emotions made him unfit to know. Back in the present, the Grand Elder confirms the new disciples. Lin is officially appointed leader of the 3, shattering Wei Ji's pride. Lin thanks the elders and promises to serve well. Even so, Wei Ji vows revenge. Lin, however, finally understands why the god chose him, to become a bridge between the spiritual world and the mortal realm. He invites students to register what items they want to buy from Earth. He'll handle the purchases in exchange for spirit stones, but says he wants no profit, just new friends. No one cares that Wei Ji is furious. Even his own allies are excited to join Lin's shopping venture. Liu announces that she and Lin are forming the first esports club in the spiritual world. Xiaolan, feeling jealous, recalls that the headband Lin wears actually belongs to her. Later, someone asks Lin if he's excited to return to the mortal realm. He says yes, and promises to protect Xiaolan and Cheng even if he's afraid. The next morning, the whole school gathers to shop for Earth items. 1 spirit stone is worth 5,000 Hua coins. Registrations open for video games, too. Meanwhile, Wei Ji accepts defeat, but believes Lin hasn't truly won yet. He remembers how Wang once told the Alliance leader that Elder Ming Yuan had predicted a massive change in the way of heaven. Anyone who descends to the mortal realm will face death. This change is tied to Lin. It is the will of heaven. Wei Ji is jealous. Why Lin and not me? Meanwhile, the system notifies Lin that he has unlocked a new divine skill, Crybaby, rewarded for making an enemy cry. Liu teases Lin, asking if he cheated to win everyone's favor. He says no. It was thanks to his excellent invitation, and they laugh. Chung observes how Liu, normally reserved, is unusually warm toward Lin. Xiaolan, jealous, gives Lin a ring with 10,000 spirit stones. He can use it for gaming gear, and whatever's left is his to spend. Suddenly, Elder Yuan appears, the bearer of bad news. He says he only came to shop, but has a warning for Lin. Lin runs away before hearing it. Xiaolan asks what it was, but Yuan doesn't answer. At the exit gate, Chung reminds the group that since they can't fly, they must stay close to Lin, who holds the sky portal key. Everyone says goodbye. Dabai asks to become Lin's first pet. Qianyun warns Lin Lin not to use the finger technique again. Liu tells him to buy the best graphics card for gaming, not mining. Xiaolan, silent, remembers Elder Yuan's prophecy. Danger and death are inevitable. Cheng opens the portal to Earth, but something grabs Lin. Xiaolan clings to him. Cheng tells the others he'll keep them informed. Lin falls into a trance. Xiaolan promises to protect him, no matter what. The system zaps Lin awake. It warns him that since he can't fly, they're about to crash. They nearly squash a flower spirit close to turning immortal. They land hard. Cheng heals Lin's back. Then they hear a voice. It's the flower, now growing from Lin's head. During the fall, he accidentally absorbed it. From afar, a girl calls out, asking if they're the divine envoys. She contacts her agency. Her name is Tian Lingling, a researcher from the Cultivation Alliance. Inside her ship, Lin's arm hurts. The flower just wants sunshine. Cheng asks how much the ship costs in spirit stones. The guards say it's classified. Lin tells Xiaolan that if anything happens to him, she'll take over the shopping business. Lingling belittles Xiaolan's sword. Tension rises. The system tells Lin to use god pressure to calm them, but Cheng interrupts with jokes, sends Lingling a photo, and reminds everyone that they are the bridge between worlds. Lingling is surprised and falls for Cheng. Then she says they arrived incorrectly. A short scene shows the flower reaching the spiritual nutrition level just by basking in sunlight and rain. Cheng promises to find it a body, but it must wait. In a flashback, a fairy speaks to Lin. She tells him to always remember who he really is. With conviction, she promises, "For your sake, I will change the world." The group arrives at a massive, ultra-modern facility. Lingling introduces them to Yuan, the president of the Cultivation Alliance in the Han Shu realm. Lin is instantly mesmerized by her beauty. As she asks them to step forward, Lin whispers to Cheng that he never imagined the most beautiful cultivator in the realm would be the commander. Xiaolin recognizes Yuan and knows she specializes in soul attacks. Everyone present is at the spiritual nourishment level, except for one man who seems exceptionally powerful. Yuan explains that they are standing in the realm's largest space, the transportation station, used exclusively to send elite cultivators to the battlefield. 8 experts have gathered today for a mission. Lin asks if they're going to fight the Demon King, but everyone laughs. A muscular man explains that the Demon King was captured 3 days ago, and the pagoda has been fully restored. The real mission is to eliminate the demonic cult's remaining disciples. The man introduces himself as Tian Shiguo, the Alliance's deacon. He explains that the Alliance is planning to send Lin's group back to the spiritual world, as Alliance members have risked their lives completing missions in their place. Cheng protests, saying they barely received any support, faced constant danger, and now wonder where the supposed friendship between the two worlds lies. Shiguo responds coldly. The demon threat was severe, and with Elder Ming Yuan unavailable, they had no choice but to act alone. He turns the question around, asking them where that friendship truly is. Yuan adds that they expected powerful reinforcements, perhaps even Ming Yuan himself. She then asks Lin to inform his people not to send any more messengers. The Cultivation Alliance will handle matters in the human realm themselves. Xiaolan whispers to Lin that she has a bad feeling. At that moment, the system sends an urgent alert. The Blood Clan and the demonic cult have formed an alliance to attack humanity. The group decides to stay and fight, but Shiguo insists their only mission is to leave. Cheng challenges him. If he wins in a duel, they get to stay. Yuan laughs, saying Cheng is no match. Lin offers to fight instead. Shiguo mocks him and tells him to get health insurance first. Furious, Lingling strikes Shiguo multiple times. He blocks her easily and counters with the "I want you to cry" technique. The emotional backlash reminds Shiguo of the day his wife left him, paralyzing him in sorrow. Yuan steps in. She notes that Lin and Shiguo are similar, both experts in illusions and soul control. She challenges Lin, if he can withstand a soul attack, he may stay, and receive a fan service as a reward. Yuan and Lingling attack simultaneously. Lin uses god pressure to endure both. Everyone is stunned. Yuan asks if this is all an illusion. Lin calmly replies, no. She accepts defeat. Suddenly, the system calls for immediate combat personnel. Yuan asks Lin what reward he wants. Hesitantly, he asks her to join his proxy shopping system. In response, Shiguo throws both Lin and his daughter into the battlefield. Lin unlocks several achievements, turning his idol into a fan, making his haters hate themselves, gaining the ability to see through objects and formations. The group arrives at the 4th battlefield, Ghost Town. From afar, someone spies on them and alerts the blood gods to prepare. At this level, they'll face spiritual nourishment level enemies. Lingling explains that they're here to gather intelligence so the headquarters can prepare a counterattack. She warns Lin about the soul-devouring mist, a poisonous weapon used by the demonic cult. The system tells Lin he can neutralize the poison using the Lotus technique, and with divine insight, he can see through the mist. Lingling detects 2 high-level enemies to the southeast. The battle is about to begin. Yuan requests reinforcements from 2 Tiger Dragon Mountain experts. Xiaolan insists on joining the fight, citing her team's expertise in spiritual fire, but Shiguo refuses. Still, they beg to be included. On the battlefield, Lin realizes the mist is actually a formation. The initial intel was wrong. He asks Lingling if her father is trying to set them up romantically. She ignores him, focused on the approaching mist. Lin pulls her to safety to scout further. He identifies 4 4 high-level enemies, 3 blood gods, and 1 demon god with lightning attributes. He requests backup, Xiaolin, Cheng, and 1 reinforcement. As the enemy screams echo, Lin uses his crybaby technique, which causes even the demons to suffer diarrhea. Moments earlier, the demons had vowed never to flee. They activated a poisonous formation to declare war on the spiritual nourishment cultivators. One demon says he wants to drink Xiaolan's blood. A demoness claims Lin belongs to her. When Lin clears the mist and enters, the demons realize he's mocking them. He immediately uses the crybaby technique, leaving them all sobbing. Lingling wonders what kind of sage he is. Lin says he's just a young man not yet old enough to marry and tells her to ask her father to stop matchmaking. Back at the facility, Shiguo bars the group from entering and sends the mountain experts instead. Xiaolan begs them to protect Lin. They agree, saying all lives matter. Cheng swears to offer his life if they fail. The system then detects an unknown-level enemy on the second battlefield and shows footage of the third. Black feathers have invaded the mortal realm. Everyone is ordered to support the third battlefield, but the teleportation portal isn't functioning. Suddenly, a black-winged demoness appears. She announces they already have 10 human sacrifices, including 3 captured cultivators. Now they just need the main target to begin the ritual. Back on the battlefield, the demons are still crying. Reinforcements finally arrive. Lingling receives a message requesting help in the first 2 fields. The third has gone silent. Either the satellite was destroyed or everyone is dead. They've also lost contact with base. Lingling decides to sacrifice herself so the others can escape. Lin insists the 4th battlefield isn't lost. If they win here, they can change the tide of war. Suddenly, silence falls. Lin peeks out, only to be struck by a demon. 2 more scream, nearly bursting his eardrums. Cheng fights mid-air while Xiaolan rushes to Lin. A lightning demon attacks, knocking them both down. Lingling retaliates but is also struck. Cheng drops from above and attacks the demon only to be surrounded. He shields himself using a formation. Xiaolan tries to reach Lin, but a demoness blocks her with a deafening scream and grabs Lin. He uses god pressure and defeats her, but then the black-winged demoness appears and captures Lin. During the ritual, Lin sees a fairy urging him to wake up. In reality, it's the system, telling him to use a god-level trick gifted by Liu. He raises his hand and shouts, "Balala Duomi Makapaka transformation." A girl's hand appears. Back in the battle, Xiaolan is distracted and nearly attacked, but Cheng saves her. She stabs her sword into the portal, causing a massive explosion. Through the portal, they see Liu carrying Lin. Liu asks if he's ever seen a fairy descend into the mortal realm. He thinks he's dreaming. Liu eliminates all minor demons with lightning speed. She enters the sacrificial site. Cheng explains to Lingling that the girl dressed like a magical fairy is Liu Qianhuan, the strongest cultivator in the Magic Academy. Xiaolan thanks her. Liu replies, "Don't thank me yet. The real problem is just beginning." The black-winged demoness approaches, radiating intense power. The group prepares for a life-or-death battle. She detects the Zumi ring, a divine item that can cut space using sword intent. She asks if Xiaolan is the daughter of Sword Saint Liu Mingxuan. Liu confirms and reveals that the demoness is Dark Knight, the 3rd monarch of the Black Feathers. Lin suddenly demands the release of the hostages. Dark Knight uses the distraction to attack, but the small red flower on Lin's head demands silence because it's doing photosynthesis. Its energy causes Dark Knight to burst into flames. Distracted, she loses her wing in a strike from Liu. Liu tells the group they have a chance. Dark Knight can't use her full power here, or she'll trigger a heavenly catastrophe. Thanks to the flower, she's suppressed. But then another demoness appears, Alberto Dueso. She uses the abyssal blood of 10 cultivators to summon 3 divine weapons. 1. Evil Bane Sword, targets Lin directly. 2. Nail of Annihilation, pierces his body. 3. Plague Disc of the Celestial Star, absorbs spiritual energy to destroy entire stars. Her mission is complete. The others ask why she's targeting Lin. She says her god wants to eliminate what doesn't belong in this world. The system offers Lin a choice. Trade 1/5 of his life for absolute power. He agrees, but a fairy appears and begs him to stop. In his inner world, Lin meets her. The evil Bane's sword is severing his bond with the system. The fairy introduces herself as Tina, a version of his system from another world. In her timeline, he died. She became a system fairy to protect him, even if it means disappearing. Because she interfered with reality, this world will reject her. She gives him her remaining energy to destroy the outer matrix. Before leaving, she tells him he'll forget her. He embraces her and refuses to let go. He uses the celestial icebreaker technique. Lin awakens. Everyone else is unconscious. Tina's voice echoes. The catastrophe is over for now, but if she stays, more will come. She tells him he deserves to know the truth. She fades, saying there are no words in this world for what she feels. She asks him to smile when saying goodbye, and if they meet again, they can cry then. She enters his heart and fuses with him. Lin becomes the child of light, uses god pressure, and subdues the divine weapons. His friends awaken. Tina tells him the Nail of Annihilation can break formations and seals. He uses divine insight to find the Matrix's weak point and drives the nail into it. Finally, He and Tina wield the Skybreaker sword together to finish it. A hopeful sun rises. Liu takes a photo of the moment. Tina gives Lin one last mission: find her in the fairy world and they will reunite. After many years, a mysterious girl appears walking on water. Reflected in a liquid mirror before her is a younger version of herself. Together, they begin painting a piece called Enlightened Apathy, marking the start of a new arc. She was exiled to Stone Dragon Island approximately 999 years ago and has repeated this painting 499 times. Their goal is to complete 9999 paintings. On the 500th year, the water reflection of herself came into existence. Now she initiates the grand formation of enlightened apathy she cultivates through painting. Only one stroke remains, a detail in the eye, before achieving full mastery. However, she decides to wait one more year. If on that day she becomes one with the Tao and ascends as a goddess, she will accomplish immortal feats capable of astonishing the Celestial Alliance. It is the only way to honor her mother's spirit. A year later, it's revealed that every 1,000 years, the Celestial Alliance, the strongest human cultivation force, declares war on the clan of demonic beasts. The battlefield is always Stone Dragon Island. The winner gains control of the island for the next millennium. Creatures clash above the battlefield. Among them is the Divine Lord of the Bats. On the throne sits Zichen, the Star Emperor. The Bat Lord declares he has reached a new cultivation level and will avenge his master, who was slain 1,000 years ago. The Emperor dismisses him effortlessly with a single finger, calling him Little Bat. Shock spreads. The Emperor mocks him further, claiming to be better looking. Little Bat insists appearance doesn't matter and accuses the Emperor of arrogance. The Emperor laughs, saying that if demons were truly powerful, humans wouldn't still control the island. Suddenly he receives a report. The Black Feather Clan, the Demonic Beast Clan, and the Han Blood Clan have invaded territories in the mortal realm. The Emperor, now engulfed in flames, refuses to be threatened. Before the battle begins, Xiao Yu arrives. She says they may fight, but only after she finishes her painting. Others remind her she's been exiled and cannot interfere. The Bat Lord is surprised to learn that the daughter of the Alliance's leader has been exiled and invites her to join his clan. She remains silent. Then, with a single brushstroke, she summons a celestial catastrophe. By merging with the Tao, Xiao Yu prepares to become the 5th true goddess of the Celestial Alliance. Her mission: end the war and claim Stone Dragon Island permanently for humans. When the Emperor asks what she desires in return, she requests that the leader of the Alliance personally escort her back with 3 true gods, and that her mother receive the highest honors. The Emperor agrees. He warns the Bat Lord that his plans are falling apart. Tian Yu begins her transformation into a goddess using the Enlightened Apathy technique, but the process fails. Her inner self warns her to stop. It is heaven's will. She ignores it. Her life flashes before her eyes before she collapses. The Emperor orders the Celestial Alliance to support Purple Star Island. He tells the Bat Lord to stand aside. The Bat Lord retreats, challenging him to a duel in 3 days at Star River. The winner will decide the outcome of the Millennium War. Tian wakes to find her other self has materialized. Because of the celestial lightning, she can no longer become a goddess. Her other self reminds her, 3 days remain. There's still hope. Elsewhere, the Bat Lord informs his superior. He is ordered to use the sacred scepter to seal all of Stone Dragon Island. The scepter will help them locate the ancient treasure they've been searching for. He is also instructed to eliminate any disciples from the Supreme Magic Academy who enter the island. Back at the academy, Lin is sleeping beside Dabai. Liu calls, inviting him to play before her trip. Lin ignores the call and falls back asleep. Liu calls again. Lin asks the system to silence the alarm, but it doesn't understand. He remembers how his fairy always understood him. Dabai remarks on Liu's soft voice and boasts about sensing girls' personalities. He wonders aloud which girl he should settle down with. Lin secretly records the conversation to show the girls later, but Dabai eats the phone. At the academy, summer practice begins. In an hour, the class will gather at the White Jade Arena and travel by flying sword to Stone Dragon Island. It's meant for observation, not battle. Lin shows off his divine items, claiming he risked his life to obtain them. The items pinch his fingers in response. He wants to give a gift to Chung. Dabai brings up a feminine outfit Lin had saved. Lin says he meant it for Liu, who rejected it. Xiaolan also refuses. Chung misinterprets the gesture and says he supports Lin's identity either way. Embarrassed, Lin considers wearing the outfit himself. Dabai is speechless. Even the flower on Lin's head projects a cross-dressed hologram. Lin insists Xiaolan take the outfit. Qianyun advises, if it's a gift for a girl, be sincere and clarify your intentions. Lin delivers a heartfelt speech. The flower projects another embarrassing image. Still, Xiaolan accepts and thanks him. After putting it on, she achieves a major breakthrough. Wings sprout from her back. Her bond with Lin rises to 88%. When Lin asks to borrow the outfit, she warns, if he stops being a man, they'll become best girlfriends. They hurry toward the flying sword, but the ship takes off without them. From afar, they shout, "We're coming!" Xiaolin loses control mid-air, and Lin scrapes his face on the ground. Chili asks the teacher to slow down. Moments earlier, she recalled the elder's warning about the island's dangers. The teacher ignores the request and announces they're heading into space. Talismans are handed out to protect everyone. Xiaolin asks Lin, if they miss the ship, will they fail the class? Lin says yes. She suggests making up for it by doing service work in her hometown. He agrees. At the academy, the students assume they've given up. Wang appears and offers to throw them with his spear. He hurls them with immense force, bidding farewell to his god and Lin. The class cheers. The teacher recalls the elder's warning. Destiny will hunt and Lin, even if he thinks he can win. The students lend their strength. Chung is first, followed by everyone else. Still, it's not enough. Xiaolin loses her wings. Lin uses his lightning technique to reach the ship. They teleport just in time. The teacher congratulates them, only the third freshman to reach the spiritual nourishment level. Wei Ji is annoyed. Elsewhere, the Bat Lord reports that 3 demon kings and 100,000 insect soldiers are ready to invade the island. Holding the scepter, he gazes at the celestial star river. The teacher explains, 10,000 years ago, Stone Dragon Island was home to the Purple Star civilization, destroyed with its sacred artifact. 10 millennium wars have followed. Humans have won 7. Both sides use the war strategically. Humans to weaken beasts, the Bat Clan to control internal unrest. The Bat Lord seeks vengeance. The teacher teaches for peace. Wei Ji wants humans to win forever. The Bat Lord wants the same, only for himself. On the ship, the students sing to pass the time. They arrive at the island. The Bat Lord orders the attack. Meanwhile, Tian begins another painting with her other self. The black-haired girl asks where the brush came from. The other replies, it was a gift, but who gave it? She closes her eyes to recall what she saw during the catastrophe. In her mind, she sees a supreme scepter suppressing the entire island. Stone Dragon Island is transforming into a drifting realm, draining spiritual energy. When she merged with the Tao, she saw a future, the divine bat in battle over the Milky Way, proof that humans lost the war. He became the island's new ruler. She wants to warn the Celestial Alliance, but her vision is interrupted by the guardian of the Purple Star ruins. Long believed a myth, no one had seen her in 10,000 years, except her mother. Her mother, a Purple Star native, once received the brush directly from the ruins. Back then, the Purple Star civilization combined cultivation and science. Their power rivaled the Celestial Alliance. Obsessed with strength, they defied heaven and were destroyed overnight. Her mother survived only because she was away on a mission, but all descendants were cursed. Her mother brought her daughter to the island in search of their roots. Before dying, she met the mysterious woman and received the brush. That brush contains the legacy of Purple Star and must be passed on. Wars have been fought over it, and it ended up in the hands of a mortal girl. If a single brush holds this much power, what else lies in the ruins? On the ship, the students ignore the divine energy surrounding the Bat Emperor. The scepter declares, only he can find the ruins, not gods, not mortals. The teacher announces a survival challenge. One day, one night. Teams form. Xiaolin asks Lin to join, but the teacher assigns him to go solo. He's too powerful. The next day, everyone will meet at Dingan Village. Xiaolin reassures Lin they have GPS. The teacher throws him off the ship. Lin resolves to reach the spiritual nourishment level. He must jump from a mountain peak and master divine wind art. As he locates the mountain, the world begins to shift. Meanwhile, the white-haired twin is rejected by heaven. The black-haired one is accepted and finds the ruins, but she cannot enter. The future she saw is happening now. The island is sealed. The Bat Emperor roars. The teacher orders retreat. Lin uses his divine insight to analyze the enemy and calls upon all creatures to reveal Purple Star's treasures. A divine nail protects him from the blast. He detects a grand formation of enlightened apathy atop the mountain and rushes toward it. The teacher's ship crashes, but she saves everyone. She orders the leaders to form a great defense formation. The Bat Emperor commands his army to wipe out all cultivators. A beast attacks Lin, knocking out his GPS. Xiaolin notices. Students weaken rapidly under the assault. The teacher declares she will sacrifice herself. Chung rallies the others to fight to the end. Elsewhere, the black-haired girl severs her connection to heaven. She has seen the ruins and the one destined to unlock them. The Bat Emperor appears. Lin uses divine pressure, looking unstoppable. He retrieves his GPS and flies toward the mountain. As the episode ends, his fairy recaps recent events. Elder Yuan speaks, if you want to know what happens next, you'll have to wait for season 2. It probably won't take that long. Thus ends the first stage of Lin's journey, from coward with no talent to an emerging powerhouse. Will he become a god of war? That remains to be seen in the manhwa or the novel. And you? If a system pushed you to your limit every day, would you fight to reach the top or give up trying? Tell us in the comments. Like this summary if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more epic stories.